John, do me a favor. You've been working out lately, right? I want you to flash your arms a little bit for me. Show me those guns.
This is just like some self-evident roast, isn't it?
Ooh, he's stripping. I like this. Can we hear it?
There they
Wait a second,
are.
wait a
Hold
second.
on. Let me get them up.
I didn't know we were at Toys R Us. Those are water pistols. Boom.
Oh, he got me.
Oh, John. John had to sit there and take it for a good 5-6 minutes. I will say, though, people were very, very nice to you today, John Hanson.
Let me give a retort here quickly. Speaking of water pistols, Brandon, right before we did the show, I noticed you took a giant swig out of a water bottle that made it look like you are ready for like a military battle. Can you hold that up for us?
Yeah.
The only battle you've ever gone into is one with a ribeye steak. So
it's bigger than his head.
Okay. It is bigger than
mention,
head. You're right.
We should mention Brandon's in for Felicia, who is having some internet issues because this is 2021 and this is what we are dealing with in the world today.
Why not?
You know,
right?
John, very smart move of you to do the retort here because you know I'm bad on my feet. You know, I gotta.
Yes,
you are. You do the thing.
I'm bad
You're
with
in trouble.
comeback. So, well, hey, you got the battle. We'll continue the war. Well, some news we're going to talk about today. House managers have wrapped up the impeachment case against former President Donald Trump. Today, they focused on the insurrectionists' own words, trying to tie their actions to Trump's rhetoric.
We are not here to punish Donald Trump. We are here to prevent the seeds of hatred that he planted from bearing any more fruit.
There is no First Amendment defense to impeachment for high crimes and misdemeanors. The idea itself is absurd. He swears an oath as president that nobody else swears. In exchange, he's given greater powers than anybody else in the entire country, maybe on earth. He or she promises to preserve, protect, and defend the Constitution of the United States and our government institutions.
Tomorrow, the defense begins their case. Will any of it actually make any difference? Well, that's going to be a big question, especially as several reporters who were there today say 15 GOP lawmakers did not even show up to the trial today. This was interesting to watch. Go ahead, Amy.
I was saying, interesting. Those 15 are not being there. It matters, but it doesn't matter in terms of the number totals. We should say that. So, I mean, we still had enough Republicans there that it matters. But I'm curious whether or not they show up in days ahead, whether they're just missing this part of the trial, days being tomorrow, whether they show up for the end of the trial. And what is that signaling? Because we've seen a lot of news out there about another party possibly being formatted after all this. Are these the folks who are going to start doing that? I don't know. John, I want to ask your opinion because, you are our White House guy.
Well, we should also note, that's a big step up. I appreciate that, Amy. That these weren't 15 senators that just didn't show up the entire day. At one point, there were 15 seats open. Now, I mean, you'd expect to see every now and then a senator on both sides of the aisle has to go out, take a phone call, do some other work. These are very lengthy proceedings. But on day one, you didn't see anyone leaving, and you see more and more. I just think this goes to show that the die is already cast in this situation, right? The only question is it going to be 55 or 56 votes to convict, or maybe 54? Very little chance that the Republicans are going to, en masse, vote against President Trump, which, I get where they're coming from on their perspective. Go ahead.
They need 57? How many do they need?
67. They need 67.
Sorry, thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, so, I mean, unless they all are going to come together and decide to do this. And look, the House managers have done a really excellent job laying out the case. I think it's actually been really captivating. I told myself before this all started, I wasn't going to watch any of it. I'm over the Trump administration. I don't want to go back. And here I am sitting, because it's captivating. It's live history, and they're well thought out arguments. Yes. Yeah. It'll be interesting to see what the defense does. Yeah. Are you watching the whole thing, Brandon?
I've been watching. I've been fascinated by seeing how they lay out everything, the audio and the video usage. Today, they played a clip of one of the rioters literally saying, "We're here at the invitation of President Trump." Like, the words right there. Like, if there's any question who incited what, they're saying, hey, we felt like we were incited by him, right? So I think that stuff is very powerful. And I'm just wondering who is hearing this. We're watching it, right? But are, Fox News viewers actually tuning into this? Or are they just tuning into the coverage, analysis from Tucker Carlson right after that's saying, it's nothing?
The question is, how much of a live ball is this, right? Like, is anyone's minds being changed? And I think Republicans are in a little bit of a tight spot because maybe this is going to have some impact on public opinion polling, and they won't know it until they've already cast their vote. I don't think so. I think everyone's in their camps with where they believe. I think, though, that this is a powerful message, and the Democrats are just aiming to punish him, the president, former president, as much as they can in this last week of goodbye. It's like a farewell message to Trump.
And let's be honest, the GOP party has taken a huge hit because of President Trump. There's lots of talks of restructuring, and the show up to this could be a precursor to what's going to happen in the future.
Could be.
Yeah, I just wish we had a camera with senator reaction as they're seeing all this video and audio.
They don't do that. It's interesting. There's a whole discussion and rules about where the feeds for the cameras go, and reactions of senators is never one of the options.
Just too bad. Another topic we should discuss: a Canadian community northeast of Toronto is facing some pretty serious backlash right now over its attempts to celebrate Black History Month because local staffers put together a scavenger hunt of sorts, asking participants to dance to a reggae song, cook an African meal, have a conversation with a Black employee, among other things, to celebrate Black History Month. Employees say it's not surprising, nor is the lack of an apologetic response. Brandon, go ahead.
I'm not even offended. It's just so funny. How does the conversation with a Black person for the first time go? Hey, how's it going? Yeah, I'm good. How are you? Great. So you're Black? Yeah. How's that going for you? Like, what is this?
Yeah, I call Brandon each and every morning just to check that off my list for the day. Only during Black History Month. No.
Only during Black History Month.
I just have. Like, I think here, I was reading some more of them, and some of them were interesting, right? Like, read about a Black Canadian poet. Okay, that's cool, right? Like, learn a little bit something from a culture you hadn't seen. I think that their heart was in the right place, but some of them just come off as really coy and silly. And they almost like throwaway things. Canadians' Black population is about 3.5% of the population, which is sizable, but it's nowhere near where it is here in the United States. Not saying that they don't know they don't have any Black friends or whatever the case may be, but you know what I mean. Like they need to do some work on this front in order to reach out across races.
Yeah, I mean, they had former staffers that, kind of tweeted back at all this saying, like, listen, they're tone deaf. There are 2 Black people in the office. They have no idea what to do, and they are trying based on what they think is right, but they're not actually talking to anybody when they do it. So, it's a learning, learning tool.
Dance to a reggae song. Check.
Right. That's not African American history.
I know. I don't know.
It needs to be a geography lesson.
We did it.
Okay. Shifting gears here. Me and Amy, I found our boo for life. Brandon, you could use a little help, of course. But there's plenty of staffers like Brandon on the Jam who are still looking for love. And relationship expert Bella Gandhi gave a few of them a profile examination. And we start with our wonderful news producer, Alicia. Tell us about your dating life. What's going on?
Currently non-existent because of the pandemic. I'm also obviously working full-time with you guys on the show, and I'm also going to school now full-time. So my life is just a little bit busy. It makes it a tiny bit rough.
Yeah, well, we hear you. All right, let's get some of this dating profile up and get Bella's thoughts.
You're so
that's a pretty
cute.
picture.
Yeah. Great photo. You're looking right at the camera. And Alicia, you have such a big, beautiful smile. You've been smiling the entire time. This is a great photo. I would say continue to build pictures of you with your big, pretty smile, because one of the most important things in online dating is to look happy and confident and positive, and you've got that in spades. We say that we like cats, and then one of the key photos has you in a cat sweatshirt, fun, quirky. In online dating, people are looking to categorize people too quickly. So I don't want you to become the cat lady with the cat sweatshirt and saying that you have cats, even though it's cute and fun. So I would say we can swap that up, but you've got a great smile. And then the other ones, you've also got friends in the photos. And so you're adorable, more of you, maybe some more dressed up, head to toe shots, looking, smoking. You're going to start to cast your net out wide and attract better people.
That's some good advice there.
That was a great
Bella,
picture too, by the way, Alish.
I agree, but everyone always needs a little help. Your profile okay, Brandon?
Yeah, I think it's pretty good. It works for me. It's successful.
And yet you're still single. So when you say it works for you, I guess it's what the end goal is.
Maybe that's what it means.
Who said I don't want to be? Maybe that's the choice.
Look, when I see someone like Brandon Pope as someone who has a dating profile, I just feel bad for all the women out there that are trying to find love on the internet. All right, you can follow Bella online.
Because there's not a lot of me. There's only one Brandon Pope on there.
Smart Dating Academy is where she is. She's wonderful. And guess what? In a little bit, she's going to actually look at one of our other staffers, Bill, who's trying to find love. I kid you not, using bait and switch. We'll talk about that a little later.
Oh, my God.
This is going to be great. All right, guys. Well, she played a big part in American history, but you may not know her name. Still to come, we're going to pay tribute to another incredible woman as we celebrate Black History Month. More of The Jam when we come back.
All right, welcome back, everyone. The COVID-19 pandemic will go down as one of the greatest challenges experienced this century. And the Global Innovation Policy Center's Kelly Anderson shared with Felicia about how innovation and technology were crucial in the fight against coronavirus.
I think a lot of people are surprised to learn that the search for safe and effective vaccines and treatments for COVID-19 is very much a local story. You know, here at the U.S. Chamber, our data shows that there's currently over 1,000 clinical trials taking place for COVID-19 related vaccines and treatments, and they're occurring across all 50 states. In fact, statewide right now, there's over 110 clinical trials happening in Illinois, which puts it in the top 7 states for COVID-19 related clinical research nationally. This research happening has enabled the discovery of new therapeutics and vaccines for conditions for which no treatment options existed, as was the case with COVID-19.
Certainly. And a lot of people in the community are asking, because these vaccines were developed so fast in record time, are they going to be safe?
Yeah, you know, I think it's important for people to understand that they can and should trust these vaccines. I mean, listen, so I'm somebody that has 3 autoimmune diseases, so I understand the skepticism behind the sentiment about some of these vaccines. But, I had questions for my doctor too. So I think there's 2 things that's important to understand here. First, these vaccines are new, yes, but they weren't developed overnight. The technology used in both the Pfizer and Moderna vaccines actually dates back to the 1990s. And it's because of the policies that we have in place here in the US, which includes strong intellectual property protection, that has allowed innovators to really harness the power of mRNA technology. So while these vaccines were developed in record time, they're really the results of decades of scientific research that we've now successfully applied during the pandemic.
I think a lot of people are also wondering if, since they're doing this COVID-related research, is it also being done on people of color and a diverse group?
Yeah, I think, first, the COVID-19 pandemic has really acutely highlighted how infectious disease outbreaks adversely impact communities of color. And the Chamber has been a very vocal advocate for the importance of including diverse populations in clinical trials. Because we know that, different medicines affect different patient groups differently, right? And so we want to be sure these treatments and vaccines for COVID-19 do work in all different types of communities. So it is very important that, communities of color be included in the clinical research that's taking place for COVID-19.
How has the business and government teamed up to fight against COVID? Because the private sector is an important part of us fighting COVID together.
Yeah, so, it's really been an all hands on deck approach. I think ultimately at the outset of the pandemic, the Chamber recognized that we weren't going to be able to get Americans back to work until we first got people back to health. And obviously that was going to take all of us working together as a community to achieve that goal. So, these medicines and vaccines that we have now were really developed at an unprecedented speed because of the unprecedented scale of public-private sector collaboration. And, while we see the government and universities often invest in initial research, the private sector has been able to contribute its vast expertise at conducting the clinical trials, manufacturing the medicines, and then bringing those medicines to patients. And I think we're about to see that these partnerships are going to be especially critical given the rapidly changing landscape that we see now with these new virus variants. But I think it's important for consumers to understand that, the innovative community really followed the science when it came to the discovery of these vaccines, and they're going to continue to do so to make sure that they remain effective against the new variants of the virus, because at the end of the day, we're all in this together.
Kelly Anderson, Director of the Health and Drug Policy at the U.S. Chamber's Global Innovation Policy Center. You all are on the case trying to fight COVID and, of course, get the community engaged in that. It is a very, very important cause right now. Thank you so much, Kelly, for sharing.
All right. Yeah, she said we're all in this together. We're all in winter together. I feel like that brings us Chicagoans together, and we're in the brunt of it right now. But the best part about this 3-day forecast isn't the weather, which is bad, cold and more snow, accumulations on Saturday, and bitterly cold temperature on Sunday. It's that I officially get to say it's the weekend forecast, everyone. Your next 3 days. Yeah, and this weekend weather forecast brought to you in part by United Auto Insurance. Dings are good things. Get a free quote, call, or click today. And we'll be right back.
Alicia, roast me, baby.
All right. I don't know why I have a job because John does it for me on a daily basis, telling me what to do.
Ooh.
Oh, that hurt me.
A lot of truth in that one. Sorry about that.
Oh, that one bites.
And are you sorry, really? Let's be honest.
Yes, well, yes. I always feel guilty. I'm like, oh, what about this? What about this? What about this? And then everyone's like, let us do our jobs. And I'm like, I'm sorry, I'm just trying to help. This will come as no shock to you guys, but I used to direct plays in my basement when I was a young kid.
Oh, boy.
And I would get I'd get like the neighborhood kids to play along, and I would direct it.
They hated
I
you
would
afterwards?
star in it. Yes, I think so. Because I would then like try and play their parts, and then I'd be like pulling them off stage and like jumping in for
Tell them
them.
what they're doing wrong.
So
Yeah.
what I'm trying to say
Wow.
is it's not my fault. It's just part of who I am.
Right.
Well, that is
Power
still makes it
hungry
your fault,
John. Some of the best burns are the ones that have a dose of reality. So
Yes.
good job, Alicia. I really appreciated that. Well, hey, guys, I got a chance to catch up with Genevieve Padalecki. She stars alongside her husband, Jared Padalecki, in the CW's new hit series, Walker. She gave me an inside scoop on tonight's episode and what adventures are to come in the show.
I believe in this episode, you'll get to see a little bit more insight, I believe, about Emily, and I believe it's episode 4, and especially in episode 5, things start to really take a dramatic turn. So definitely stay tuned tonight and next week, and it's just if you thought the first 3 episodes were great, just you wait, because the show is just getting off to the races. It's really exciting and fun.
All right, it's ramping up. You can watch an all-new episode of Walker tonight at 7 p.m. on CW26. The cast is also going to be doing a social media takeover, so be on the lookout for that. Amy.
All right, coming up, a Chicago restaurant is helping convicts get a second chance. Plus, we bring back Bella Gandhi to help another coworker add a little flair to their dating profile. You don't want to miss it.
All right, dollars and cents week in A. We should all be millionaires. At least that's what one financial coach thinks. I kind of like that thinking as well. Rachel Rodgers from Hello 7 has more on how to make this our most profitable year yet.
I always start with my clients by helping them take stock of the skills and natural talents that they already have. We all have natural talents and skills. We all have different work and life experiences. And it's usually those things that point us to the right business for us, because I always want my clients to be focused on a business that they are passionate about, that they get up every day excited to work on. Because if you're not enjoying it, you're not going to be able to take it all the way to 7 figures. My recommendation is to focus and to sell one thing. How can you focus on that one thing that you do really well and go all the way? A lot of women-owned businesses tend to think, well, you know, I'm renting apartments. Maybe I should also, you know, sell houses. Maybe I should also work with investors, right? We start adding on these different layers and these different aspects of our business. And I say, no, let's get hyper focused on what you are excellent at and only do that. Listen to your customers, talk to your customers. What do they need now? If you're running a yoga studio, do your customers want to work with you virtually in classes? What would that look like for them? What would success look like for them? Find out and then go do exactly that.
For more of Rachel's tips, you can check out her social media, and her book, We Should All Be Millionaires, is available for pre-order today on her website at hello7.com. John Anson.
That's some good advice. I feel very seen
Yeah.
in that moment about focusing on the one thing you want to do well and do it really well. I mean, that's so true.
Do you think she was talking to you, radio guy, a stadium announcer, TV host? Do you think maybe?
I don't know. Maybe. I don't know. I think we all try and do that in our business, right? We're all trying to be multi-talented or whatever it may be.
Yes.
Yeah, hustling. But I think like a lot of people out there do the same thing. They're like, well, maybe I'm not making enough money from this specific thing. I need to branch out quickly without first diving in and being the expert at that. Good advice. Let's talk about Chicago Food to Go, guys. Okay, it is a great show no matter what episode it's on, trust me. But we're doing Top Choice, everybody, where we pick our favorite restaurants in Chicago. Now, we kind of previewed all the categories last week. There's 7 of them in total, and you can still vote. You can vote today. You can vote tomorrow. You can vote Saturday and Sunday. 4 more times to vote every day until the 14th, and then voting closes. So go to cw26chicago.com to vote for your favorite place. And then we're going to reveal all the winners in a very special episode that airs the following weekend. So this weekend we got a Valentine's Day episode, and that's when voting ends. And then the next weekend will be when we reveal our top choice for Chicago Food to Go.
Ooh.
Did you try all of them, and how much weight did you gain?
Oh boy, Amy, you're asking 2 very separate questions there.
Yeah,
I haven't
equally.
tried every single restaurant because a lot of them are Chicagoans that take a video of themselves. So I
Yes,
didn't
yes,
invade
yes,
all
yes.
their homes and eat their food. That sounds like fun though. But yes, I
Yes.
have gained weight. I don't know if that is part of Chicago Food to Go.
Well, I meant the
a whole other
restaurants
thing.
I meant the restaurants they were ordering from, not the people who were getting it, by the way.
Yeah,
'Cause I don't
no,
want-
I figured. Yeah, I was just trying to stall as long as I could before answering the weight question. We'll be right back.
Got it. Okay. Oh, I think we need some more roasting of John at the top of every half hour, because I think it kicks us off right on the right tone, right?
Bring us
Yeah.
in. If you got something, Amy, you got one ready?
No, I was saying, I'm like, we need to make this a daily thing. Brandon, you have anything
I
else?
like that idea. I like that. I have
Yeah.
nothing else. I got to prepare some more material, though. There's
Okay.
plenty on him, but just got to give me
Weekend
some time.
homework. We'll get this prepared for next week.
I tell you
Yeah,
what,
I
you do
love
this
it.
enough, and I'm going to come back with guns blazing. So you
I
better
love it.
watch out, everyone.
Yes.
You mean water pistols?
Bring it. I'm better at fast comebacks than I am about thought out comebacks.
See, complete opposite here. Yeah, we sure will. All right, guys, let's talk about some Black History celebration. A second chance and an opportunity to help others is what Shy Fresh Kitchen is all about. These Chicagoans in their second act are creating change by fighting food insecurity. Take a look.
We got 35 vegetarian right there.
The world need creativity, and I feel like the people that's formerly incarcerated that need a second chance got a lot of creativity to bring to the world, and that's being blindsided, you know what I'm saying? My name is Daniel McWilliams. I am co-owner of Shy Fresh Kitchen. I was incarcerated for 3 years. I actually would cook in the cell. I got connected with Shy Fresh through my sister. I seen that we could have like co-owner. I'm like, oh, okay, cool. And just going to the meetings and basically like creating a whole blueprint and basically that vision and bringing it to life, like that's where it came from. It's a life changer for me. I don't think that when I was growing up I seen anything like this, because we wasn't given a second chance, you know what I'm saying? Nobody wanted to give us a second chance.
When you gotta check that box and say that you're a felon, it's hard. You gotta keep looking and looking and looking.
Those 15 over there? Yeah.
But it is some good people out there that help you, but you can't stop. You can't stop looking. You got to keep going. The work that we do is more important in these times because it's not a lot of Black-owned businesses. And for us to come from where we come from and like incarcerated and to be Black minorities is real important to show that Blacks could like come from a messed up background, you know, and own a business.
We all should be treated equally and be able to have a second chance, and also be able to create a path beyond the path that they set out and see us as and judge us off as far as our past and our crime. To create that path, you know what I'm saying, and that platform, like we got a platform, I feel like it's important because we're able to create a way for others that don't have a way, you know what I'm saying? We're able to give jobs to people that don't have jobs. We're able to give food to people that don't have food.
We have 275 meals being delivered right now at 4 different locations.
And we able to show kids and other individuals that if y'all going down the right path, it ain't about how you start, it's about how you finish.
Very cool, very cool. Yeah. You can find more information about Shy Fresh Kitchen and head over to shyfreshkitchen.com. The cool thing about this is it's doing so much good. One, you're helping incarcerated people put some good into the community, and also you're helping the community as well. So I think it's a great initiative.
Yeah, it's really I think that all these. Go ahead, Amy.
I was just saying, it's really just kind of changing the narrative about people who have been incarcerated. They're not all bad. They grew up in bad situations and ended up in a bad spot, but learned from it and are trying to turn stuff around. And I think that's great.
I feel like if you were someone that watched that story and you really loved it, right, and you're inspired and you think, oh, that's great, I think that there are connections to a lot of the other conversations we have on this show about prosecuting young criminals, about recidivism, about things that happen in our justice system and the inequality there. Those things are all connected, right? Like, here's a success story, but I think the real challenge for all of us is to find ways, effective ways, to level that playing field so that we have more success stories, because this thing is so cyclical. You're not only interrupting a generational problem amongst one tree, you're creating growth for their families and the people they touch in their lives. But don't just like pigeonhole yourself into, oh, these people made this one thing. Look to the broader conversations of change that we can affect on a whole to start making these things happen more often, if that makes sense.
It does.
I'm off my soapbox now.
But it does. Yeah. Oh, you done? Okay, good. Guys, in celebration of Black History Month, we are sharing stories of people who've made an impact in our country and, of course, around the world. She was born Sarah Breedlove in 1867, but the history books know her as Madam C.J. Walker. She rose to fame after creating cosmetics and hair care products specifically for Black women. Ever the savvy businesswoman, Walker opened the Madam C.J. Walker Manufacturing Company in Indianapolis, Indiana, and appeared in the Guinness Book of World Records as the first African-American self-made millionaire. Madam C.J. Walker donated a large part of her wealth to help the NAACP and the Black YMCA. Today, we honor her life and lasting legacy.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, the power of capital as a Black person in that time was just, it's unspeakable. I mean, not a lot of Black people owned anything, let alone their own agency, or their own body. So for her to be able to do that and also use that to empower others, hire people, train people, give people their shot at creating a business and owning a business. Really awesome stuff that she did there. And that spirit lives on through our entrepreneurs today.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
very awesome.
For sure.
Hey, thanks to Bean Legal and Foreman Mills for helping us share these very important stories in American history. John.
Okie dokie. Bella Gandhi, relationship expert, is here to help. Another wonderful person of our Jam staff. But man, Bill, our photographer, needs a lot of help. Bill is a handsome man here, Bill. You're a talented guy. You're 29. You live in the suburbs. You're a great guy and everything. But let's talk about what's your dating life like, Bill?
Well, I mean, essentially what's been happening over the past year since quarantine is I probably went out with about 10 different people. Usually they last between 1 date and 6 dates, and eventually it sort of fizzles out like I would assume Tesla stock prices.
He comes with jokes, people. All right, so let's start looking at the profile, Bella, and see if we can see a red flag. I know I see one immediately. He's got his main profile picture with himself and another friend. That's no good, Bella.
No, remember, Bill, you're the product in cyberspace. We want to see you. You're a cute guy. And here you're putting a picture of yourself with another cute guy who happens to be married. So they are going to go, where's Waldo in this photo? They want to know who you are. So your first opening headshot's the most important. You want to be looking right at the camera, looking hot, smiling. You've got this.
Let's take a look at some of your others put together because there's some text in here, some other photos. Bella, what are you seeing here?
Again, lots of photos with hats on in here. You look great just as you are. You don't want people to say that we're hat fishing when girls see a lot of pictures with guys with hats on. They're like, what's going on under the hat? You look great. You've got plenty of hair. You look good as you are. You want to definitely put yourself out there in your natural state. So people want to date the person in the picture. So you look cute in hats, but slim down the pictures with hats to maybe 1 or 2 so they see what you really look like. You have witty, funny quips in there. I love that you think cheese and barbecue sauce makes everything taste better, maybe except for Oreos. Super cute. Maybe the grizzly bear attacks. Maybe we don't want to paint a picture of blood and guts and gore. I like the fact that you could protect me from a grizzly bear with the survival tips that you learned, but maybe we can think about something that's like, oh, that sounds lovely.
Yeah, he had a funny blurb joke about how he'll save you from a grizzly bear attack that went into quite details. But Bill,
wow.
I honestly wish that I had a single girlfriend to set Bill up with because he's the funniest dude out there. Ladies, start looking for him on social media. Just saying. He's a catch.
The dude made one of the worst mistakes you can make and put in Tyler, one of our former He's right next to you. Like, come on, bro.
So Tyler used to be one of our coworkers, and he would be our photographer, and I'd go on live shots, and people would think that he was the reporter and I was the camera guy.
You're like, who's the hot talent?
All the time.
Yes. Thanks.
I'd be like, it's me. I'm the one that's, okay, I'm sorry your expectations are so low.
You're like, I'm really funny.
But never
can't set yourself up like that.
Yeah, Brandon. You know what? One of these days, I'm going to go through your profile and help you on out. We'll do that a little later, okay, Brandon?
I don't know if I need any help, but hey, I appreciate you taking a look and seeing what you think. I should be coaching Bill because I think I probably had a little more. He has me on his profile. Did you notice that?
I like the fact that what he got. The information you got, but don't change Bill. Don't do Brandon on Bill because Bill's perfect the way he is. He just needs a little tweak. We don't need Brandon-fied Bill.
No one
That's
wants
true.
to see Brandon on Bill. I'll tell you that much. All right, what do we got next? First,
man.
go to smartdatingacademy.com for Bella. She's awesome. She'll help you out.
Oh boy. All right, guys. Well, coming up in News Need to Know, a doctor thought he was doing some good, but ended up getting fired. We're going to tell you all about that and how it happened coming up next. More of the Jam when we come back. All right, news you need to know. A Houston doctor has lost his job for giving out doses of the COVID-19 vaccine. Now, here's why he did it. He only had 6 hours to use some of the leftover vials. It does expire after a certain time, and he didn't want it to go to waste. So he rushed to find 10 eligible people, making house calls and having people even come to his home to get their shot. Some were acquaintances, some were strangers. One was a woman in her 80s with dementia. The last dose went to his wife, who has a pulmonary disease. Now he's been fired and charged with stealing $135 worth of vaccine, which is a misdemeanor. Seems like, though, this man is just kind of following the Hippocratic Oath. You're supposed to, as a doctor, look to do all the good you can and help people where you can. You can't just waste vaccine doses, right? Like, that's $135 down the drain. Someone's got to use it, right?
Yeah, you would think that the biggest mantra here would be just to get the vaccine into people's arms. However, if you look at the way that the story, at least way I read it, was laid out, and how some were acquaintances, some were strangers, the last one to his wife, there is a bit of wondering there. Did he pick out people in his life that he chose over others, which in fact would then be not good? So, that's not the rules we're allowed to follow. And so he got fired for not following the rules. Now, do I disagree with him? Not necessarily.
Yeah, my caveat to this whole thing is that this is his side of the story.
Yeah.
And
right.
until we get to court, maybe there's more to it. So that's my caveat to what I'm about to say. But if you open that vial, like one last person came to the vaccine place where they were administering these things. They came in right when it was closing. And once they opened up that vial, you got to use it in 6 hours. And he asked everyone around. He asked a couple paramedics. He asked 2 police officers. One had already gotten the vaccine. One didn't want it for reasons that escape me right now. But At that point, I don't care. Call your closest friends, call your wife, call those people, or call people that you know could really benefit from it, like people in their 50s, 60s, 70s, beyond. But use it. I mean, what are we talking about? That should be part of the thing. I know that's a slippery slope, right? I know that's
I was going to say, just to be totally impartial, is it better than to walk outside the front door and be like, I have 5 doses left. I need to get these in arms. Who wants it? And you pick people as you walk by, and then there's no way people can judge the way he chose people.
It looks like, though, it went to people that needed it for the most part. So I guess that's
But
where
that's
I
subjective
feel,
to you and I based on the story, right?
Yeah. Lots based on what we read, right? So, like John said, a court proceeding could probably reveal some other things. So we got to see how this all plays out.
Yeah, and the last one I'll say, Amy, though, it wasn't like, I think it was at a distribution center in a random parking lot. Like, it wasn't like walking out of the hospital room to like the emergency room and doing it.
I know. I mean, walk outside and get people walking by and be like, you want one?
See, now that would be crazy to me. That would be like, who is this? I don't trust this person. Like, it's a person with a syringe walking through the streets. I mean, I'd still probably take the chance.
I would take the chance.
I'd probably be like, I'm not going to trust this guy. Go ahead, buddy. Roll up my arm. There you go.
Just going around, injecting people. Oh, boy. All right, guys. Literally. Some other news you need to know today. A judge has denied a prosecutor's request to have alleged Kenosha shooter Kyle Rittenhouse arrested and raise his bail. The prosecutor's reason was Rittenhouse's failure to update his address. Tessica Brown got the glue out of her hair. Remember the Gorilla Glue lady? A Ghanaian doctor came up with a solution that helped her keep some of her hair in the process. He did the procedure for free. Did you know that she's like 40 years old? That's amazing. She doesn't look it. Black
I
don't
donated
crack
to her
and neither did her hair.
GoFundMe. I donated to her campaign just so she can get this done, so we don't have to talk about this story anymore.
That's good. Very good of you, John. They say black don't crack, and neither did her hair. But I'm glad it's cracking now, and she's got her locks back. That's a good thing.
Only you could say that right now.
Yes.
Yes. If it went another way, then that joke wouldn't fly.
Right.
Okay.
United Airlines has ordered 200 of these electrical airplanes with vertical takeoff. Yes, electrical airplanes. The company wants to use them as taxis to get you to the airport. Okay, which would come in handy. Okay, got to get to O'Hare. The purchase is an estimated $1 billion, but hey, that's pretty clutch if you want to avoid some traffic. Just fly over it.
Yeah.
I'm in.
So
I'm in.
Well, it's interesting. There's some big cities like New York where they do Uber Air, essentially, and it's super expensive. So it's not being utilized as much as they would hope it would be. But could you imagine, like, if you're like in John's neighborhood, like north side of the city, and you need to get to O'Hare and you had a half an hour to get there? I used to fly a lot in a helicopter, and it was great watching people go on the Ike or on the Kennedy, and they're moving like.
Yeah. In Amy's previous work that she just alluded to in the helicopter, she used to actually just fake that she was working and get dropped off with her family at O'Hare Midway when she had to fly out really quickly.
Smart move. Very smart move. I don't blame her.
Let's take a look at your 7-day forecast to see if there's any warm up in store. So I'm going right to the end. I mean, look at how many days of snow there are. I mean, what are we doing?
Oh my gosh.
26 on Thursday next week. And hopefully that is the beginning of a thaw out here. We have about 13 inches of snowfall, maybe 14 now at O'Hare, just like sitting there. And we've had that now for 10 consecutive days. The record is 40 something. So we're nowhere near the record of most snowfall just sitting there. But we're going to be flirting with at least getting to 4th place here soon, if that made any sense. This weather report brought to you by United Auto Insurance. Get a free quote, call or click today. Amy.
Yeah, guys, no family should ever go hungry, and it's happening way too often right now in Chicago. Here in Chicago, there are families who are in desperate need of food, and we need your help. We want to help by raising $15,000 in meals. So far, we've managed to bank in a little over $12,000, but we need your help to do more. By next Friday, February 19th, to donate, it's easy. Just text CW26 to 41444. Or visit CW26chicago.com. Join CW26, Meet TV, the U, and Beam Legal in our partnership to donate meals to the Greater Chicago Food Depository by donating today. And we will be right back.
Brandon, roast me, buddy.
Man, nice gray cardigan. You got the matching hair for it.
Oh, like gray hairs. At least I got hairs to talk about, so.
Hair here.
Oh. Oh man,
I love it. Brandon's like, I can grow it here.
It can grow. Yeah. It's growing here.
That wasn't a good one, but in fairness, that was the very first one you had to give me. I put you on the spot for that one, Brandon. So that wasn't good.
Yes.
It was.
I've had these
And
gray hairs since I was
spot.
18, by the way. Yeah.
Really? I just started getting them. Oh, I got a couple I gotta worry about now. Yeah.
Well, you're only 23, so.
I know. I'm gonna have to start coloring my hair soon, and that freaks me out. Ugh. Old people,
I've got
right?
some in the beard. I got some gray hairs in the beard that have popped up lately, but the ladies love the salt and pepper look. So
they do love salt and pepper. This is why John's doing so well.
Director Brian, rule on that one. If the ladies like salt and pepper, please, with the sound effect. Yeah. Okay. All right. Brian's with you.
Yeah, Brian.
All right. Live look outside with the Royal Sonesta Chicago Riverfront Camp. Ooh, look at the river. It's like frozen and stuff.
Icy-ish.
Like a jigsaw puzzle.
Ooh. Alrighty, deep dish time. Do you struggle to get your 8 hours of rest every night? Do you toss and turn as if you can't figure out which side of the bed is right? Sorry, I'm trying to do this like an infomercial, but a doctor has gone viral after sharing a video of how we can all get a better night's sleep. Take a look.
So let's talk about people that wear socks to bed. So wearing socks makes your feet warm, and this opens up the blood vessels that cools the body down. The body being cool tells the brain that it's time for bed. So actually, people that wear socks tend to fall asleep faster. Dr. Jess out. So let's talk about people that wear
Okay, doctor, so take that for what it's worth. Amy?
Yeah, multiple levels I have problems with this. Okay, first of all, because you also lose a lot of heat in your body through your head and your feet, which is why they say don't have wet hair when you go outside, always wear a hat, wear boots, and warm socks. They'll keep your feet warm, which in turn keeps your entire body warm. So I really want to wonder where she gets some of that information, because it seems a little counterintuitive to what I've learned in the past. And then it's hard one because I think feet are not sexy, but wearing socks is not sexy either. So
shuts down things in the bedroom. Poper, I bet you wear socks.
I do. I have a phobia with feet where anytime I don't have a sock on my foot, I feel like it's exposed and something bad's going to happen to it. And this is just from experience. Like I only stub my toe when there's no sock on it, right? I only step on something sharp when there's no sock on it. But when I wear a sock, this is a thing. This is maybe it's not. It's just in my head. So I've always worn socks. Always.
What about at the pool? What about it? Like you're out you're at the pool.
Took me a long time. Took me a long time to get over that. When I go to the beach or the pool, I now take off the socks, but it takes a long time. It takes a very long time, and they go right back on once the swimming is over.
Are you self-conscious about your feet, or is it really just the stub thing?
I think I just have a fear of the feet being exposed and something happening to them because I've stepped on things, I've had sharp objects, I've stubbed them so many times, and it's only when there's no socks on, only when they're bare. So yeah, I sleep in socks, and it is comfy.
So
I'm a very heavy sleeper.
You must slide your feet when you walk, and if you have socks on, it obviously slides more evenly. If you don't, they stub, right?
Yeah,
so maybe you walk funny.
Yeah, exactly. Also, like, what's going to happen when you're sleeping in bed? Like, is there going to be like a little goblin from under the bed to come bite your toe off, like while you're sleeping?
You never know. If I have to like get up and spring into action, I gotta be nimble. You never know what's gonna be there.
And I guess the socks make
me feel like I have
You live in the Gold Coast, Brandon. You're not gonna have to spring into any sort of action. Come on.
You never know, bro. That's
he sleeps
always
in his
the back of my
Black
head.
Panther outfit.
When you grow up in the hood, you always thinking something in the back of your head could happen. So we're ready.
We'll see you tomorrow.